think with an eating disorder, to begin with anyway, you don't see the problem. Everyone else around you can see that you've lost weight, and for me, I didn't notice it.
My whole day was just evolved around thinking about food, about weight, about numbers. I couldn't concentrate on anything else.
Just walking up the stairs, I was out of breath and really had heart palpitations.
It did just become a bit of an obsession to start with. It was just losing a little bit of weight, and then it kind of escalated from there.
I knew that I needed to pull it back, but I couldn't do it myself.
So I'm Roseanne, I'm 21 and I study French and German at the University of York now. And so when I was quite young, around 7 or 8, I used to think that certain things would happen to my family if I didn't do certain rituals and things. But I didn't realise at the time that wasn't normal. I thought that was just something everyone did and everyone thought. And then when I was around 16, a teacher kind of noticed these rituals that I was doing and spoke to me about them. So then I started going to therapy for that. And then when I was 17, I developed an eating disorder called anorexia. A lot of things had got worse, my physical and mental health had got worse. So I was then admitted to a hospital which specialised in treating mental health, and I was there for 8 months. It frustrated me a lot, especially when I was around friends and family, because I wanted to kind of please them. I wanted to be a good role model to my sister, and I didn't feel I was doing that, so that was difficult. That's one of the worst things that I felt about my eating disorder, was that it didn't just affect me, it affected everyone around me as well.
My name is Michelle. I was diagnosed with anorexia just over 9 years ago now. I went through some different types of treatment which resulted in an inpatient stay.
I didn't know what my own voice was. I didn't know what I was physically thinking and feeling as Michelle, because the eating disorder had taken over. My family always say to me, you're a completely different person. They didn't know who they were going to get from one day to the next, and my mum always used to say that she'd walk on eggshells around me, which it's horrible, it's heartbreaking to hear, because family should never feel like that. But I could wake up one day and be happy and chatty, and the next day you could just say anything you say to me would be the wrong thing. I remember my sister actually dropped me off. She gave me a hug, said it's all going to be okay and that it's the best thing for me, and then watching her walk away was just, it was heartbreaking, because you do feel alone. I didn't know anybody, I didn't know what to expect. You hear stories about what eating disorder clinics are like, and you only ever hear the bad stuff, because it's what it is. It's not the nicest of things to be going through. So I think for me, the biggest thing was having all my control taken away. That was a big shock for me. As soon as you walked in that door, it's gone, really.
People would say to you, you look really well. I mean, it's probably the worst thing that you can say to somebody.
My heart melted a little bit each time that was said.
Yeah, and all people meant was, you literally don't look like you're at death's door anymore. But that's the whole thing with it being a mental illness, isn't it? It's not about, you sat there in clinic and ate jacket potatoes the size of your head, and and anyone can be force-fed ultimately, I know it's not quite like that, but to a degree, to put weight on, but without all of the stuff that goes alongside it, it doesn't change the root of the problem. So the weight is completely irrelevant, really.
So Greg's Place is a place where I came before I came to uni. I came with my therapist here, and that's the first time that I'd really been to the university campus, and it was a really good day. It was really insightful for me in terms of finding a place where I felt comfortable, where I was outdoors, and realised that actually in a place like that my eating disorder was a lot quieter. So that's why I really like Greg's Place. It's my kind of chilling out zone. I do exercise to help me with my mental health problems. Generally I play squash. That really helps me to stay well. So it's really good for my mental health. It's helped me before I developed anorexia, but also and more so afterwards, because it's a place where I can go and de-stress, and it's a place where I can also be with people who I get along well with. We can go out for meals and just have a good time, really. I found that when I had anorexia and all the thoughts coming into my head, I was able to think of the squash ball as containing all of the thoughts that I didn't want, and I was hitting the thoughts away every time I played, and that was really, really helpful into helping me to continue to keep well.
For me, when all I wanted to do was lose weight and control that number, exercise was, well, it was deadly, because I was just doing more and more and more, and I was achieving what I wanted to achieve. It was never enough, so I would just keep going and keep going. And obviously that puts stress on the body. My mood changed, I was irritable all the time, I had no energy, and from a health perspective, it can be really bad for you. On the other side, I think it's the one thing that got me through my recovery, and it's the one thing that I lean on now. I do struggle with things and my anxiety, so I think it's a fine line, but I think there's so many benefits to using it for mental health. I wanted to find a way that I could do these things after I finished treatment, and incorporate them into my daily life in a healthy way. And that's when I joined a running group, which I absolutely loved, and then became a running leader for. And then I really enjoyed just working with all of the ladies who maybe didn't think they could achieve what they wanted to achieve, and helping them get to that point. For me, that was really rewarding, and just showing people that you can, if you want to do something, you put your mind to it, you can definitely do it. For me, it's a chance for me to de-stress from the day. If I've been really busy at work, then I just enjoy going out, and it gives me a way of, just detoxing my mind, really. I'm able to switch off from everything that's going on around me and just focus on the here and now, rather than worrying about what's happened during the day or worrying about what's about to happen. For me, it's something that I can keep building on and seeing myself achieve different things, which is why I do the races that I do.
But instead of the word recovered, I like to use the word flourishing. It's a nicer word, and I've found it helps me to see recovery as a journey rather than a destination. So I'm here today at St Dennis Church in York to do a talk about eating disorders, to share my journey and to raise awareness about anorexia and about my book, which I've written about anorexia. My parents, my mum and dad, have come here today to support me. They've not actually seen a talk that I've done before, so it's really nice for them to see it as well, I think.
We thought Roseanne spoke really naturally, and it's really interesting, kind of looking backwards to see Roseanne's take on it from an early recovery to it emerging now when she's further on in the recovery process. So that was very interesting as well.
as I went through treatment and I became more confident in myself as a person and realised that I'm not the only person out there struggling and that it isn't really anything to be ashamed of. Now I do talk about it quite openly, I write my blog, I do some work with England Athletics on mental health. I think that more people are becoming aware of it.
We will always deal with this, but when Michelle went into clinic, I hadn't seen her smile or laugh or do anything that was fun, that she enjoyed for years, really. And I think now to see her smile, and actually enjoy her life that's all I want. I don't want anything more than that. I just want her to have the life that she deserves to have, and that's what she's working towards now. I'm not saying there aren't hurdles to climb and there won't be moving forward, but actually Michelle is in a happy place, and that's all anyone wants, isn't it? We can deal with the rest of it.
I'm a bird, I've been set free, trapped in a cage is where I used to be. I'm a bird, I'm flying high, I spread my wings and soar into the sky. I see the world in a new light. The land is green and the sea is blue, and I look back and see where I've come from. Oh, the clouds were grey and the rain falls too. I was lost, but I've been found. My head was buried underneath the ground. I was lost, but I found my way, and now I cherish every single day. And there's such beauty on the earth. Never forget how much your life is worth. There isn't anything you can't mend, for every fairy tale has a happy end. I am strong, but I once was weak. The world around me seems so dark and bleak. I am strong, and I'll stand up tall. To all my demons, I will fight them all.